others who are my counterparts in big companies. But I want to share some insights from other industries that maybe you can take a thing or two from there and try and apply it in your own business. So really, I'm going to tell a story on tourism later on, but framed in responsible business. And there's three things that we've seen work when you want to go and convince the owners or the investors or the shareholders. Understand the changing global landscape is one. I think we've had a lot of chat about that already, and how disruption is here, how innovation is here, how booking channels are different. When you live in China, you don't go onto the website and go on booking.com or the hotel website. You are on WeChat, you are on Weibo, you are on Ctrip. And if you're not on Ctrip, Ritz-Carlton wasn't for a while, Shangri-La wasn't for a while, you're not going to get the bookings. They want everything all on their mobile, and that's how they share with their friends as well. Sometimes they get on TripAdvisor, sometimes they don't, because everything is on WeChat or on Ctrip. With leadership comes responsibility, and this is the second thing. This is the best thing that if you are going to senior management or if you're going board to directors, they will not deny that they want to be number one, best in the market segment, you want to be first in class, best in class. So if you want to be a leader, you have to come to terms with the fact that responsibility comes there. And of course, you have to still show me the money, let's face it. We all would like to bring all that together. The reason why I label them all one is because they all have to come together. We can't do any of that together. Storytelling starts with photos. So just have a look at that and just take a minute to understand what's going on there. We talked about changing landscapes. This is Chongqing, where sidewalks no longer look the way they used to. There are 3 lanes. You've got the lane for the bikes and the cars. You've got the lane for the pedestrians, but there's that lane in the middle. This is a one-way lane if you're on your cell phone, because you are absolutely not looking where you're walking. You are going like this, and you know that this way no one is going to come towards you. This is the way the city works now. This is encouraged, this is recognized. You can't tell people to stop using their mobile phones when they're walking, so the city has adopted by redrawing the grid. Absolutely fascinating. We're talking about disruption, we're talking about innovation. This is the city adjusting to the kind of people who are there. If that is the global landscape and everything that it comes with, where data is shared, where privacy has some issues, where people take decisions on the go, and every single decision is owned by them, you have to come to terms with how complex the world is. How many of you remember the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs? 15 years ago, the MDGs put out one big goal, which is to end poverty in all its forms. It came in 8 targets. Well, 15 years have passed. This year is the 15th year, and this year they came up with the Sustainable Development Goals. It talks about not the ozone layer. Remember, when we first talked about climate change, we talked about phasing out hairsprays and aerosols because of the ozone layer. Now we don't even talk about that. You look at the 17 goals, they talk about things that are very here and now. Sustainable cities, responsible consumption, goal 12. And under the 17 goals, you've got 169 targets, things that say you've got to source locally at least 50% by 2025 and at least 75% by 2030. This gives you a snapshot of how the world has changed, how complex our problems are, and how problems are not or no longer are specific to one industry, to one company, but this is a shared purpose, this is a shared issue. And tourism is not exempt from responding. Of course, life on land, life below water, responsible consumption are probably more relevant to the tourism sector. But there's quite a few things here that we were on the morning walk today. We saw wind farms and solar panels being talked about as an investment. It's just the right thing to do. It's more efficient. It addresses the goals. And that's kind of where the global landscape is. And if you are a business, whether you are Walmart, as big as Unilever, or a small tiny boutique hotel that is just about to open or just about to start, you might want to think about, I'm sorry that that's a Mac showing in a non-Mac. I think Mackers or Apple computers are always so egotistically unfriendly and incompatible. But this is a spectrum of, regardless of the business that you have, you got to look at your responsibility, look at your leadership, and look at your sustainability journey. Palm oil companies do this. Mining companies do this. Not just ecotourism, boutique hotels. So if you look at your sustainability maturity, it really starts with a bit of CSR, a bit of donations here and there, because you want to be giving back. And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem with that is when markets crash, when belts are tightened, the first thing that goes is maybe a scholarship that you invested in last year. Or at least it starts to get reduced because you can't link it back to share price. It does not have a profitable value. You move along the spectrum, and the goal is not for all of us to lead. When everyone's a leader, no one's a leader, right? So the goal is to just have a reflection of where you are and where you might want to go. At the Purpose Business, this is the framework that we use. This is a maturity scale. We try and situate companies where they are and then where they want to go, and we try to find out what strategies are to be put in place to get there. When you avoid risk, and a lot of companies that we work with are stuck here. Oh, but I'm compliant. I've got my permits and I've got my environmental certificate and I've done this and that, and they think that's cause for celebration. Well, compliance keeps you out of jail. Really. That's not a cause for celebration. So in Hong Kong, when the stock exchange is talking about all public listed companies as